Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to StrangeCast, Player One vs. World's Life is Strange fan podcast. This is episode 100. So it's a two-parter. Yes. Side A, Side B, and we are at the landmark 100 episodes. We've done more than 100 episodes. We've done like Side A's and Side B's before, but I count this as officially 100. I am one of your co-hosts. I am president of Caledon University, Adnan Riaz. And then I have my co-host, Mushrooms owner, Mr. Adam Evalt.
What? Am I Sean or Daniel? Am I Daniel?
You can choose whichever one you want to be.
Yeah. Also, side A and side B is what I call each of my butt cheeks.
There you go. That's a perfect way to sign off 100 episodes, isn't it? It's hard, man. We don't have like gimmicks for the Life Strange Cast. I need to sort them out. I like going.
I'll let you decide which side is side A.
Well, we'll do that after the podcast. Anyway, but we are back. It is 100 episodes up. So if you are new here, as always, and before we start as well, please do consider dropping a like on the video, share with your friends, subscribe. If you don't subscribe, I'm going to chuck you into the tornado, Safi's tornado. Yeah. You'll become Nepo Baby 101. That's what's going to happen.
And start shooting at it with the Glock.
Well, I didn't say, well, as I said in the last episode, I didn't say you shoot at them. You shoot at the tornado. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
We're dodging all kinds of things. We don't encourage violence in any way, shape, or form. No. So, yeah, please do subscribe. We're almost at 1,900 subscribers. We're at 1,800. So, the climb to 2,000 is continuing. And StrangeCast is available on all podcast services. So, StrangeCast can be accessed on Spotify with a video version, and on Apple Podcasts. We have 311 followers on Spotify. We have 49 ratings as well, 4.8 stars. So please do rate us. It helps boost our visibility and push us out to other people. So we are back. We've decided to split this up because there's quite a few things that are happening. Hopefully this comes out after Fireside with A&A. So Abby's back for that episode, and we've done that. We've split this in parts because there's a couple of Life is Strange bits, and there's also some Lost Records and Don't Nod heavy stuff. So we kind of split the podcast into two. So I think naturally, Adam, I think we should start off with our first piece, if that works for you.
Oh, absolutely.
There we go. The tempo is set. So absolutely. I'm going to scroll past down there. So we're starting with the first piece. Adam, first piece there.
Wow.
Let me start first, please. So Aysha Farah, former Deck 9 developer, writer on Life is Strange Double Exposure, appeared on the Aunty Sochelle Hour-ish Show podcast. So it appeared on there. I knew you weren't going to watch it, Adam, if I sent it to you. So and not many other people, I think, watched it.
I'm never on X anyway. So if you sent it to me on Blue Sky, maybe.
Oh, well, I should have sent it to you then. Missed opportunity. It was a 50-minute podcast. I watched it all the way through. I picked out some certain little details as well, just as like quips as well, go through. So in there as well, obviously, Aysha Farah praised John Stauder, who's former Deck 9 developer, the Life is Strange Double Exposure director. She spoke about the Social Impact Award and the GDC Awards. It's nothing different. We've already kind of seen that and covered it as it is. And then she also did an interesting part where she praised Deandra Warwick, who was the former lead writer on the game, who left Deck 9 amid Double Exposure's release, etc., the layoffs, and praised her. And then also the other parts as well, Adam, was that Farah said she's also working on a project that she can't talk about due to an NDA.
Oh, okay.
And I wonder what she's working on. And then Adam, the other part, which was really interesting, one or two things, was she said that she sees, quote unquote, a lot of her, end quote, in Vin Lang and Safi from Life is Strange Double Exposure. And went as far as to admit that the quote unquote two most controversial characters, end quote, are her favorites.
Good. We're having one of those conversations. Excellent.
Yes, we
are. Okay, Safi and Vin Lang are controversial for two separate reasons, right?
Yes.
Safi is controversial because, like, one, racism still exists in our world. God bless. But also, like, they're replacing Chloe. Like, it's more of just like controversial on like a fan spectrum, also / racist assholes. All that. Then it's just like controversial because, like, why is he there? So, like, he serves no purpose. So I'm sure, like,
Would
I
you
like, yeah.
would you like me to give you some more details of why she relates to Vin? Because I didn't
Because
include
she's a
this.
sexual deviant like Vin Lang.
Um,
Is it actually?
no,
Come okay, I was about to say.
no, but this is it. So as you can see here, I replied to Keno because Keno was saying, Vin, of all characters, good lord, and I responded because I went back and watched it. It says she says he's like quote unquote a
What?
gay theatre kid, and so was I.
Ah,
And as I pointed out as well, Vin isn't actually like gay in the game because it's like he has a love
yeah,
interest
is he
with Reggie,
portrayed as gay?
bisexual
You know
because you can have Max
yeah.
or Reggie, so he has like two love interests in that game,
Uh,
which is I'm a bit
okay,
like
so
I'm
okay.
pretty sure him
Yeah.
and Reggie are a thing. I'm pretty sure that's a lead, or I'm misleading something here. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
but,
that's
like,
a thing.
who am I to argue with the writer and creator of Vin, of, like, what they portray? But it's like, I don't look at Vin, right? And it says, "Oh, the gay theater kid." That's like the last thing I describe Vin as. I describe Vin as yeah,
Frat boy
like
special.
yeah, he's like the frat leader. You know, like
Yeah,
he's not really like the unpopular gay theater kid. He is the frat bro that everybody hates. You know,
yeah,
um that that being said, and then Safi is just kind of like controversial in the way of just like okay. You know, like I'll give Aisha this. Aisha? Is it
I should.
Aisha or Aisha? Aisha. I'll give Aisha this, that she is proud of what she's written. She is proud of her work. You know, step up. Good. You're proud of your work. I can get behind that, right? But the way she, like, is so out of touch of why people hate this game and why people hate Safi and why Vin is controversial. She's out of touch of, like, what she put out into the world
Yeah,
and how people and how people contrived it, right? She thinks that Vin is controversial because of his sexual orientation and the activities he did in school. That's not why Vin was controversial. So be proud of your work, but also get in touch with your fans. I don't know, man.
yeah. So no, it's interesting you say that as well because I watched the full interview, and there are some moments where she, personally speaking, just my observation, she goes a little bit like a little bit left field, and she might throw like maybe a jab that I personally see and perceive. And I kind of understand it from the perspective of a developer who's been laid off and etc. We've gone down that narrative rabbit hole before.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, it doesn't reflect well for other fans because again, they still feel like you're being tone deaf about the situation.
Mhm.
When the controversial point comes up, she doesn't actually explain it though. She says they are considered two of the controversial characters, which is a bit of a shame that the interviewer didn't go up and follow up and say, why do you think they're controversial? She just refers to him as controversial. And with Safi as well, Safi could have been fine if she was on her own and you treated her as her own character and you didn't make her a Chloe Price substitute and make her a Nepo
Yeah.
baby. Like the character in itself, if you'd written it well enough, it could have gone into the True Colors world and people wouldn't have batted an eye. Vin,
Yeah.
no, I don't agree with that because like Vin is just the worst character in the entire series, hands down, no question. I don't think any other character comes across. He's like completely just a waste of space, and the way he acts and the way that Max kind of moves to him, it makes no sense as
Yeah.
well. Like that even love interest thing, I was like, why would Max even go anywhere close to this guy? She was already getting the jeevers off of Warren in certain places. It's like, why is she going to go for
Yeah.
that? But
I
yeah,
don't know. That if that's what you were trying to interpret of who he was as a character, that's a failure. I'm sorry. Like, no, that's
yeah,
not how we portrayed him as a character. But like, okay, cool. And it's just like, why do you want to say like I'm controversial? Like, I identify with the controversial characters. Like, okay, that's great. Thank you for pointing that out. Again, I'm sure if I sat down with Aisha, had a beer with Aisha, like I'm sure that like I could be friends with her. I'm sure she doesn't want to be friends with me. I'm 100% positive
are you
on that.
sure?
I'm 100%. I have a mirror. I'm 100% sure nobody wants to be friends with me. Um, but I'm disagreeing with her as a creative. and not as like a
Mm,
person. You know what I mean? So I'm disagreeing with her as how the world perceives her art, and then just
yeah.
like go for it. Why not? Go on a podcast. By the way, clever name for a podcast, Aunty Social. That's great. That actually,
Uh,
yeah, Anti-social, Aunty
I did not even realize
Sochelle.
that.
Yeah, I was like, that's a clever name. Good for you for getting on a clever name podcast, other than StrangeCast. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, good for her, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this at all.
No, it's a very interesting interview just to see it and see someone's and the way she speaks and what she's saying as well. Because obviously, I watched a lot of the interviews and the double exposure build up as well. And she is looking for podcasts. And Aysha Farah, you are more than welcome to go on StrangeCast. We ask good
Yeah,
questions here as well.
prove me wrong, Aisha, that you want to be my friend.
Well,
If you don't come to this podcast, it tells me that nobody wants to be my friend.
indeed, there you go. Make friends with Adam, but the podcast invitation is always available, Aysha Farah. You can always come on and ask
Yes.
questions and answer questions from us, because that's the most closest you're going to get to responding to really serious questions about this game under NDA
Yes.
with all the stuff you have there. No, I didn't really take much away from it, personally speaking. And again, the lack of self-awareness, and again, we'll come into a comment later as well, which I'll kind of revolve around. It might be this episode or the next one. I can't actually remember which one I put it into.
Mhm.
Is it this one? Is it this one? Yes, it is later on. I think the lack of self-awareness doesn't really help her in the situation.
Yeah.
And to kind of like explain what's happened here in the game and where we go from there. But ultimately, yeah,
Well,
I like
she's I was gonna say though, good for her finding work. Like that's one good positive. She's working on a project that she can't announce because of NDAs. So it's like, I don't want her out of a job, especially, with certain politics in the country that she lives in,
mm,
like where we're gonna only afford only $3 instead of $30 and only 5 pencils instead of 250 pencils. God, I hate
so
our country.
I know she's been doing freelance among many other things for other people, but she's still
Sure.
looking for a job. And I
Okay.
think the NDA is relating to something else, which I think you might be able to connect the dots.
Mm,
Which I feel like that's where it's coming from. So that's why she can't talk about it.
mm.
Um, obviously making Fortnite, but um,
Yes, obviously. She's here in Raleigh right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did find it like even the interpretation of Vin being like, I'm like, really? I'm like, he's like the Abraxas leader, and that's not really the gay theater kid thing, and he doesn't really give that vibe off in the game. That's
Um,
the interesting. He doesn't give that vibe off, like, because most of it he's like thirsting over Max in a really obnoxious and horrible way, and then he only
yeah.
becomes a bit more the gay theater kid when Reggie turns up later in the game. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm like, I don't see where you're finding this, and like also as well,
Yeah.
the other thing I find, as at least from a creative perspective, and like from that, if you're going to inject yourself into that person, so for example, you're making because obviously you feel like you can see the gay theater kid kind of thing in him, and it's kind of representative of you. Other people need to see that as well. So it's like when Felice
Mhm.
tweeted about all the stuff when she left Deck Nine, and she was like, "It's about the establishment, and this is the story, the overarching theme of the game." It's like it'd be good if we saw that, but we didn't see
Yes.
that. It's like because what you're trying to suggest, it's like we also need to see that because it might be good for you to hear it, but like we will be lost in the commentary on that. So yeah, I didn't take a whole lot away from it. It was not the enthralling interview I expected to hear or see, and I didn't even expect it to be like that. But um, ultimately, I just still think it's just not that great in that perspective. It doesn't really
Yeah.
achieve things. And just before we move on as well, quickly, one thing I'll pull it up. I can't pull it on the screen. But one thing I know as well, and I've got it for a while, is Deandra Warwick when she spoke out after the game was like being built up and coming out. It's just her LinkedIn post when she put it here. She put like, I've been hesitant to talk about this publicly. I don't deal well with situations that turn me into a public figure or the subject of discourse. And the initial fan backlash spooked me, but I'm allowing myself this one little indulgence because I deserve it. Just a moment celebrate accomplishing something incredibly difficult before I fade back into the shadows. This week, my first ever lead writer credit appeared on in a ship game. I'm proud of what we accomplished in double exposure. We had to navigate around a lot of constraints we probably wouldn't have chosen ourselves, and tried to make something meaningful with the parts that we had, and I think we mostly managed. Obviously, it was nothing without my team. If you play the game and love something, it probably came from one of them. Which again, like that's just like when you read it and then hear what she's saying in the interview. I'm like, again, it's going to be being a dead horse if I do the same thing. It's like just there's no awareness of it, and it's no different. That comment, for example, what I just read there from Deandra Warwick is no different from what Mallory Littleton did before the game. When she went on that Twitter thread and just posted all those Chloe things, it's like, what has that achieved apart from just rattling people more? No lack of awareness, and you're telling people to buy the game despite their creative choice in there. It was like, what? Nonetheless, it was interesting, but as you also, I thought we'd bring it in because it is Life is Strange content and it was to cover. Speaking of which, should we go into another piece of news because it's a little bit different, but we've been very excited for this.
Oh yeah, dude, I am titillated by this news.
The titillating is titillating, and as you can see here, it is Beethoven and Dinosaur. They've put Mixtape is an official selection of the Tribeca Festival. Play at Tribeca Games Gallery, June 11 to June 15. And they also put as you can see here, is it Annapurna? Annapurna.
Are you sure? Maybe try again.
Was it Anna? Wait, what's that?
You got this. Yeah,
Annapurna.
Go ahead, read it. No, that's not how it's pronounced. Pronounce a different way.
How am I pronouncing that?
Go ahead, you got this.
No, I'm not. You have to tell me.
Annapurna.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Annapurna.
I know. I wanted you to like really lean into Annapurna.
Oh,
like it's Purina cat food or something.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, there we go. So, as you can see as well, they tweeted as well. If you're watching the video version, it's the 9th of May. They put Mixtape is joining the Tribeca 2025 festival lineup. Come play the demo by visiting Tribeca Games Gallery.
Which is
June.
Funny that Annapurna is tweeting this out because if you don't remember, Annapurna had like I'm pretty sure the entire company walked out. Who's tweeting this? Like, are they back in action? Like, I'm surprised the company hasn't dissolved. Like because of that. Pretty sure every single employee, like all, and I think there was only 30 people working there, and they all just walked out.
Well, they've been quiet for a while, so it feels like they probably just restaffed.
Yeah, because nobody's there. Like, who's tweeting this? It's just like the owner's like nephew or something, just tweeting everything out.
That's probably the dynamic that's led to it.
Yeah.
But as you can see, Adam, as well, I pulled it up on the website as well on Tribeca Film. World premiere Mixtape, 30 minutes. June 11 to June 15 in the Pier 57 living room. You can book a slot there as it is. Action, drama, music, romance, narrative. On their final night of high school, 3 friends embark on a nostalgic adventure through dreamlike reenactments of pivotal memories set to a curated 90s soundtrack. Mixtape blends vibrant visuals, heartfelt storytelling, and diverse gameplay from skateboarding to rhythm challenges, exploring themes of friendship, growth, and music's role in life's defining moments. All these game selections can be played at Tribeca Games Gallery, etc. You've seen it before, and as you can see down there as well, credits to the thingy, some screenshots as well of the game, which I think are they new? Can't actually tell. Oh,
yeah, those are new screenshots.
Oh, they do look new. Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's pretty vibey. That one. 2 people floating in the sky.
Yeah.
it feels like something Michelle would write in
That's 90s in a nutshell right there, floating in the sky.
Fawn's curse. That's what happens. And you were laughing at Michelle's favorite scene. It happens. It is built into it is 90s coded.
Even Olivia herself had said, like, you know what was weird? Dancing in the air. One thing I have to note here, by the way, just reading the description of that game and knowing that Mixtape is gonna be a banger of a game. Okay. 2025 is turning out to be the greatest year for smaller dev teams ever, right? Speaking about Expedition 33, which apparently some reports are coming out for their financials of how they got that much money to do it. It's a little bit controversial. Yeah, but
here we go. I want to hear it.
Okay, so I did see an article or like a Reddit post. So it's like grain of salt, right? Absolute grain of salt, but it's like it's plausible. Okay, that's the creator of the Sandvault Interactive, like the actual director, has family members who are in like investment firms, and that he started his career as like a creative director in Ubisoft. So he had like that financial gain, and he has like 2.7 million in debt at an undisclosed place. So there's some controversy on that, but again, it came from a Reddit post speculating. So it's kind of like I can see that coming out to be like, okay, that's true, but for right now, the source is a Reddit post. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So it's like, we'll see. But going back to my point, what are you looking up?
I'm trying to just see it. I'm seeing on here. Just trying to pull it up. I know Michelle has given this game very high kudos as
Yes.
well, and among many other things.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, because like I didn't see any official reporting. I only saw the one Reddit post. But lack thereof, right? It's a smaller team, right? Where they got their money is where they got their money, right?
yeah,
Same thing with Dave the Diver. It's like not technically not indie, it's AAA because they got their money from, the biggest corporation.
yeah,
My point still stands that these smaller teams, like from Sandfall Interactive, like from Bloom and Rage, right? But I just rolled credits on Blueprints, and that game is amazing. I rolled credits on it. Fantastic. And now we're getting Mixtape. I'm just saying right now that these smaller teams coming out of 2025, it's going to be a banger year, right?
yeah,
I, like, good thing Grand Theft Auto isn't coming out this year, because not to say these games would be run like they would run Grand Theft Auto to the ground. That's not happening.
mm,
I'm just glad that Grand Theft Auto is going into next year so that 2025 can be highlighted that, like, hey, these smaller teams can make really great games. Bigger studios can make great games. Grand Theft Auto 6 looks amazing. It really
yeah,
does. Red Dead Redemption 2 was amazing, right?
mm,
It's not to say that like big game studios can make amazing games, but 2025 will signify that smaller dev teams can make
yeah.
amazing games, and Mixtape is going to be the next chapter in that story.
No, I can see that as well. I agree with you. As you said, it's like what's going on in the wine in France, like, with Expedition 33 and like
Yes.
Lost Records. And Michelle said that Expedition 33 is his game of the year. I saw Juliet tweet about it and she loves it as well. I am a little bit,
It's
now that you brought the funding up, I'm raising big questions. 'Cause I did think that I was like, how does this game look so good on the budget? I'm like that.
yeah.
Okay. I wait until I hear
With a
more. It's
budget
not.
like that, and like the instrumentalists involved, and like they had enough money to like do 5 years of development, and just
Yeah.
like it's amazing. It's just kind of like
It-
I feel like the shoe's gonna drop somewhere, you
yeah, of course
know?
it will. But
Yeah,
it's
but
not a knock. It's you just have to be
it's not
transparent
enough.
about it because it's like when you see those like TikTok and it's like we bought our own house and then you like go into the second slide, it's like and we got a mummy and daddy's bank that has opened up this. It's like
Exactly.
just be transparent first and stop making it some underdog achievement. Don't say you're working class if you're not working class. If you're middle class and you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, accept that you're a nepo baby because people will
Yes.
respect it more from you. The minute that you start trying to lie, that's when it gets worse. It's the same with like
Yeah.
hypothetically speaking, if it's these situations with like game developers when something is revealed afterwards, it's like, oh well, the funding came from this. It's like, oh, okay, so we got
Yeah.
like a leg up and we did this. Yeah, ultimately, it's still like I'm excited. I will pick it up now because obviously you've said to pick it up,
Yeah.
and I know Michelle has said to pick it up to me
Funding
as well. He
funding
actually replied to me
aside
directly. He's like, "You should get it," and I'm like, "Okay, like yes,
Yeah,
sir."
funding aside, that game is amazing, and the
Yeah,
music is amazing, and the writing is her first credit. Jennifer, I forget her last name, but it's her first credit as a writer, and it's just incredible. So, again, like we're talking about indie game devs, like when we're talking about Mixtape and we're talking about Lost Records, Bloom and
oh god,
Rage.
Jennifer Svedbergyen.
Yes. It's her first credit as a story, and it's just it made me cry. Like I actually cried at the end, dude.
2 million
Um,
copies sold, 12 days.
yeah, in
Pretty wild.
12 days, 2 million copies, dude. So whatever funding they got it back. So they're good.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's on my list. Like, this is probably the year where I buy the most games because I did not plan it. Like, the only games I planned to buy this year were Lost Records, Death
Mhm.
Stranding 2, and Mixtape.
And
And I'm now adding
there's another game.
Expedition 33,
There's a game
Doctor
coming out
Detective
this
2,
year or this month, actually.
the Doctor Detective 2.
Yep, May
and that as well.
22nd.
So we'll have to
May
add that to the
22nd.
list. But yeah, I didn't manage to buy them. But like, I've been excited for Mixtape since I saw it last year, and I thought I was like, it's like Katie Bent's. It's like she's like no, and
Yeah,
I'm like oh, like I thought I got that, but I mean, no, that vibe was really great from that trailer, and we haven't really heard much about the game since the
yeah.
what happened at the Annapurna situation,
Yeah.
and like they said that they're still making the game. It's coming to PS5, etc. So I'm like, okay,
Mhm,
perfect. I'm looking forward to when it comes out. And it's like, as you said, these like the little gems I'm always excited for. So
mhm.
I hope that we see more from this when it's like shown there, and hopefully they post stuff online as well, because I would like to see this game a bit more, because it does have that vibey feeling. And even Michelle as well is very excited for it. So
Yeah.
it will be one we keep an eye on. It'll be one we cover as well, no doubt. Adam, should we go into our next piece of news?
Yes, we should.
I'll combine the
Boy, oh
next
boy.
two together,
Okay.
and just run through them, because, like, basically, in a nutshell, if you're listening, Don't Nod released its full year earnings report. So we covered the small press release that they did, where they reported earnings, I think, on the 16th of April, and then on the 30th of April, they post their full year earnings in a massive, like,
Mhm.
document. It's all in French, but it's a massive document. It's the full year earnings. And some of these things we have covered, but I'm just going to bring them back in, and it might not be big topics, but I thought we would cover it nonetheless. So I will pull it up here. And if you're wondering as well, it's split across these two episodes. So side A, side B is intentionally done that way. So we're covering a lot of the stuff that's being said in there. So Adam,
Mm,
you're going to go to my Twitter feed, because I was translating a lot of this and trying to move things around whilst I was doing it. So this was one of the pieces here, which says that Don't Nod cited the commercial success of Life is Strange and Vampyr for receiving quote unquote genuine recognition of its creativity and expertise, making it truly attractive to publishers with whom the balance of power is now more evenly balanced, end quote. Rough
mm.
translation from French to English, so bear that in mind, because I'm not an expert at translating that. And I'm going to combine it with the next piece as well, which is this one as well, because we did talk about it. Donald says it saw sales growth of around 1.2 million euros, which was mainly
Mhm.
driven by its back catalogue. Obviously, Life is Strange and Vampyr were cited as the main drivers, and then Jusant and Banishers Ghost and Eden both contributed, but have both been written down now as assets / commercial flops. Um, but in this as
Yeah.
well, I think I exchanged with Yellow Flash Hawkins. Yeah, so even Yellow Flash responded saying that I'm not sure what it means by the balance of powers is now evenly balanced. Because it's a very weird translation. I ran it through a lot of different translations. I didn't really get much, but I just put here as well. It's like, I think the context is, as I put in the tweet, it's that like in other words, it's we've done great games, and
Yeah.
we're not just some unknown quantity. So you can take the risk that you're taking risk on. So essentially, we're
Yeah.
established studio, and the balance of power has shifted. So the publisher will work with us, or you should work with us, because we have a a catalog of games that are good. So I think generally speaking, like that's always a good sign, from
Yeah.
Finger, because Vampyr was a very good game, and obviously Life is Strange has had its success, and even
Yeah.
Banishers and Jusant as well. Despite them being written down, they have made quality games with external publishers. Um, I don't know how much the balance of power is switching to Don't Know right now, because the industry is in a
Mm.
really horrible state, and we've talked about a lot in Pierce's video and the way that things going. I don't think publishers need to bend over to other studios now. I think they're basically in a very much a big controlling situation, barring these little indie gems that appear like Expedition 33 and stuff like Lost Records and stuff that can happen. But I do think that Don't Nod still has a solid team. It just needs to like get a footing on with its publishers more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. And like we said, like Donut makes amazing games. It's just a matter of marketing. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of like getting it out there. And unfortunately, right now, marketing games is a little bit like kind of it's bad. It's bad for the games
yeah,
industry right now. Unless you're Fortnite, it's bad. You know, I mean, unless you're putting in Max Caulfield running down, drinking that juice in Fortnite, the shield potion. Go 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 go. It's like there's nothing.
do you know what
So
though?
it's
Sorry
yeah,
to interrupt as well. I think you make a really good point with that, because one thing I noticed as well for marketing and the knock-on effect is that people started doing the Sabrina Carpenter dance from Fortnite, and then it's like
yeah,
that has like added on to the thing. So it's like that unique dance to her character, which she doesn't really do, but it's like that has now been like a knock-on and marketing effect where people are talking about it. And as you said, if Max was in
yeah.
there and she did something like that, it'd probably drive like I'm not saying I want that, by the way, before someone jumps on me. But I'm saying, like, if they did that, it's like you
Hmm.
throw yourself to a new audience and a big one as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think Life is Strange is big enough to get into Fortnite. It's just like a matter of like making that deal, and it's just garbage. And it's just marketing. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. Fortnite is the marketing driver, or any kind of like Apex Legends or anything like that, and it sucks. And some games just don't want to market themselves that way. It's the same with
Mm,
like any art, like right now, to be a musician, like you have to
yeah.
be on TikTok and making YouTube videos and doing little silly dances. I'm like, I am not I don't really see myself as a content creator, you know?
Mm.
And it's like I understand when people say like, "Oh, well, you can get more views with the TikTok." I'm like, I tried, man. I hate it. I hate it, dude. And I'm sure Don't Nod doesn't want to be like, Max Caulfield doing the floss, Like I'm sure they don't want that.
Oh
Or
God
having
Almighty.
like the characters of Banishers, chucking some L's at I don't know Fortnite lingo, dude. So I don't know. Um, I'm sure that's just not their bag. It's just a matter of like right now, marketing games is different than 2007, and it sucks. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't do well for the industry at all.
Yeah, it's like really. It's like imagine Swan Holloway running through Fortnite and then hitting Sabrina Carpenter dance, and it's
Yes,
like, oh, and you're like,
I'm sure Olivia would love that. Actually, Olivia would love like to
Now
have
if
her
it's Taylor
character.
Swift, she'd be like, yes,
Yeah,
game. If it's not, not a chance. She's not having that.
has Taylor Swift been in Fortnite? I feel
No,
like
she
she has.
hasn't. No, she hasn't.
Yeah,
But she's also
dang.
that would be like you'd be paying her a lot of money for that. Like Sabrina
Yeah,
Carpenter is like fair. I think you still paid a lot of money for that, but not as much. Was
yeah.
it Kelly? Was it Kelly Clarkson? Who was the other one? Or who's the other musician? There was another musician who played in it. There've been quite a few
Uh
musicians. I think there's a woman who played in it.
Ariana Grande was in it.
That's the one. Not Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah,
Not
Ariana
Ariana
Grande.
Grande.
Yeah,
Um,
Riri.
oh, Kelly
Well,
Clarkson.
that's
My
Rihanna. Yeah,
my
yeah,
millennial heart heals when I hear Kelly Clarkson's name. But anyway,
yeah,
no, yeah, you're right though, because like that's the market that drives it. Because like in itself, like when you said about being a content creator, I don't consider myself a YouTuber, and most people are
yeah,
like, you're mad. I'm like, no, I'm a podcast. I like specifically
yeah,
said that like the way I present, I never present it on myself as a YouTuber. I despise and
yeah.
loathe YouTubers. Ironically, being on the platform, but like I have to like play the game
And
to a
that's the
certain
thing.
degree.
It's just like to be a content creator and to market yourself, you constantly have to be like seen. You have to be perceived, and it's just like
Yeah,
I don't like that. I know I'm on this show and I have this big personality. I was just like, oh, you don't like being perceived? The whole reason why I want to be a composer is that someday I want to walk into a random store and somebody says like, and the music was great on that game, and I walk right past them and they don't recognize me. They don't recognize the composer for the game, and I can just go on my merry way and you leave me alone. I love that. Whereas content creation, good luck going anywhere.
yeah.
If you make it big, good luck, dude. I don't want that. I'm too old. I'm too old
Af-
to be bothered.
After I watched Miss Americana on Netflix, I never ever want fame. The way that Taylor
Yeah.
Swift was like, the way she just accepted it, and I was like, no, that's not normal. And it's like I don't care how
Yeah.
much money she has, like the fact that she can never walk down the street and get a Starbucks, you would regret that in a minute. The minute you trade that, you would never find peace. Everything's watched, observed, and especially with the American paparazzi as well. I would not want to be playing that game. Um,
Yeah.
but
That's
no,
what they
yeah,
did to
and well, the kids are too young to know what happened to Britney. We remember what happened to Britney. That was a brutal,
Yeah.
like, entire thing. And even where I live in the UK, Diana was another one as well. That was a big story in the UK.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it's hard to like market things. It's really hard to like get people's play. Even like for example, because like the argument as well is made when you make a critique of Don't Know and say they need marketing. Well, Banishers was marketed, wasn't it, by Focus? And it's like,
Quick quick side note on the UK side. Okay?
yes,
Quick question for you because I'm curious about this.
bloody hell,
Your whole like little UK jingle, let's say, like a commercial jingle, but you have like the UK jingle, like God bless the Queen,
it's
but
king
you
now.
have it does it change now?
Well, yeah, because we have a king.
So like the whole song changes. The
No,
song
just
you
a
learn
word.
just a word. Okay.
Yeah.
But like the word changes. Now you have to, teach Gen Alpha God save the king.
You don't teach the national anthem here. Most people wouldn't know
Y-
it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a
You see in
shame.
sports events, like they usually play the national anthem before, like obviously when I think when England's football or soccer team play for you American
Sure.
people, they'll
The
play
the
it, but
jingle. Yeah.
yeah, but you can even see some of the players just don't know the words, like they won't have like been taught it. It's not
Really?
like it's not a taught thing in the UK. It's just it is the national anthem, and it's mainly
Oh
the
yeah.
same. It's the same national anthem, but obviously changes if it's a king or a queen, depending.
You see, that's why America is superior, because we learn our national anthem and we learn our Pledge of Allegiance since the day we can come into school. Take off your hats, little children. Time to pledge your allegiance for a country that you didn't have a choice to be born in. Let's go, America great. Arr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus
You
Christ,
guys are just like, oh, bloody hell. You don't have to memorize nothing. Just
exactly.
be on the merry way.
We're just
Yeah.
chilling. We're just like, nah, we're the vibes. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I completely forgot what topic we were on. I just went off the tangent. But yes, the royalties and we've covered the royalties, and that's not
See,
expected.
royalties. Say it was on the right topic.
Yeah, it's on the royalties and the commercial success. Obviously, hopefully, Don't Nod get a bit more of that. I think like Lost Records will come into the second part when we talk about it. But I think there is a bit of steady footing once hopefully the industry heals itself in some way.
Yeah.
So Adam, let me just pull up the next pieces as well. And I'll
Is
just
it
pull it
about
up
Prince
here.
Harry?
No, it's this one. So it said Don't Nod as
No.
well said in there. Said Don't Nod said the first Life is Strange was developed by quote unquote around 40 talented individuals. End quote, so probably not including the freelancers and Square Enix's external teams, etc. And the French developer and publisher says the game has won over 100 awards since its 2015 launch, which is
Dang.
pretty wild. But again, like that's, I think, like bringing that in as well. Around 40 developers at Don't Nod, which doesn't include Square Enix's external teams, and then obviously freelancers that worked on the game, but mainly just the Don't Nod team. Again, very Expedition 33, but that was 2015 with Don't Nod as well. Like they made it
Yeah.
10 years ago, and it's like now that kind of like resurgence has happened where these like small little gem studios, like for example, this one in France has popped
See,
up.
I
And it's
can't
like,
even call it. I can't even call it resurgence. It's more like not a resurgence, but a reminder. It's a reminder that like, hey, you can still do magical experiences with smaller teams, not
yeah,
bloated. That's why these layoffs happen. I'm not trying to say that's the game devs' fault, because again, I'm out here. I'm talking with these game devs out here.
mm,
It's I don't want to say it's your fault that you got laid off. I don't want that language to be spoken here. But it's more of like corporations and the management to say that like we need 300 people to make one game, and
yeah,
then you get to the end of the game and the budget gets so bloated, it's like, oh my god, we're like 250 people too many, we had to lay
yeah,
off. you know like games don't need like that many devs. You
no,
have that many devs and you still go into 100-hour week rushes or crunches. So yeah, no, I think this is like the reminder that like smaller teams still make great games 10 years later.
yeah,
Um yeah, I still hate this. I hate the game industry, the music industry, the film industry now. Film movies are boring now, dude. Except for Sinners. I didn't see it, but it's Ryan Coogler and Ludwig Göransson, so like it's amazing. I don't need to see it. It's amazing.
but it's hard though as well because like, even with like Spielberg makes it difficult to make films. Like his run of films recently has been terrible. And it's like because the industry has just changed so much. Like it's like even when like Scorsese puts like The Irishman out, it's like it's not like that just feels like a film that would have come out 10, 15
Yeah,
years ago, and it feels weird in
I
this
hated
climate.
The Irishman. Did you like The Irishman?
It was just Scorsese. It was okay Scorsese. It was not something
It was
definitive of his work.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's the only way to describe The Irishman. It's like it was Scorsese made it, and you can
Yeah,
tell, like it gives Scorsese, that's what
yeah,
it does. It's Goodfellas, except it's Netflix. It's Netflix's Goodfellas. That's all it is.
yeah. See, I have a lot of respect as well for Quentin Tarantino for like most of the film directors. Like the fact that he basically
Mhm.
said, "I want to make X amount of films," and he's always stuck to where he's at. And he has one of the
Yeah,
best body of works I've seen for any director. He might actually be one of the best up there. The films he's made in the catalogs, the directing ones, oh my god, a lot of them are
yeah,
masterpieces. But yeah, on Life is Strange though as well, like that's
yes,
amazing because obviously again it shows the legacy and the success of the franchise. Obviously, you can see where the IP is headed and it's not evolved or changed or developed with the times or even kept that rustic charm because even though
yeah,
2015 you could make an argument that Life is Strange was triple A because Square Enix was publishing at that time, budgets are all out of control. So even when I say like in the past, the argument was that some people would say that Life is Strange was AA in 2015, and then it had like a Sundance-esque vibe kind of thing, so it looked indie.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if you look at the credits and you see how much Square Enix has worked on it, it does become AAA because all their external studios were working on it. They ran the marketing, they did everything. So for that time, it was AAA because the budgets were reasonable. Obviously, you have to
Yeah.
remember now the budgets are like that; they go through the roof, and we don't need that in the gaming industry now. But for like this time, it was amazing, and it's still withstood the test of time. The franchise hasn't, though, unfortunately, which is a bit annoying. But the awards show it. And I'm hoping that, for example, the Don't Nod Montreal team can do something like that in the near future. Because I think Expedition 33, as you said, not a resurgence as I said it, but it's like, a reminder that these kind of things still exist. And that's what they need to do, those developers. They need to bring people back in. So it's even with like Don't Nod as well. I think Don't Nod needs to bring its legacy fans back in. The people who've like fallen off games because they've like looked at, for example, Ubisoft making a 200-hour game. They want to pull them back in and be like, actually, we make the games that you really enjoyed in the past. Come back. So hopefully that is a reminder from it. But no, obviously amazing to see like Life is Strange have that much success since then. And
and thank God we're not putting any more investments into live service games. Thank God PlayStation specifically doesn't want to make a whole brand new studio just to make a live service cringy game. Thank God we're getting back to the roots of what gaming really is.
The Jim Ryan era was freaking awful. It's been one of the worst periods.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, the new studio from PlayStation.
Oh yeah,
LFG. What's it actually? Looking for Group. It stands for Looking for Group. It's so. I don't use the word cringe often because I hate that word, but dude, that public statement was cringe, dude.
Yeah.
Looking for a group. Your friends are in it.
That's an
Your
example of
friends
bad cringe.
Yeah.
That's an example of bad cringe.
That is the appropriate way to use the word cringe.
Yeah.
That was cringe. Like, not teenagers being teenagers.
Yeah.
No. These are adults trying to market to you, saying like, your friends are the game's so good that your friends are in it. I love Tesla, and these are the people that you want to be in.
God almighty.
I'm not trying to say that anybody had to do with it. It gives that.
It does give that vibe. Yeah, it does give that. Oh God.
It's so good. You're not going to want to be away from it. Your friends are in it. Your mom's in it. Your dog's in it.
Oh God almighty.
It's
so hard. It's so hard, the world. It's like living inside. Like I would say that the greatest TV show of all time is South Park, and even South Park finds it hard to make the world satirical because that's what it is now. It's like it's not even like what they say is a joke. It is just a joke. But anyway, Adam, 2 pieces of news and then a quick fire round of pieces of news I collected. So this is from the Don't Nod Press big report as well. It says Don't Nod said its job protection plan would aim to prioritize voluntary departures and provide for 59 job cuts, including 12 departures that will be not be replaced. This came after a quote-unquote majority agreement with union delegation and validated by Labour administration, end quotes. That's the STGV part that we talked about, and it's also the reorganisation project and all that. And if you guys do want to listen to that, go and listen to it in the backlog because there's a lot of stuff that's happened there. Oops, wrong thing there. So I'm going to go back. Oh no, we messed up there. What are we doing?
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog. And then Adam, the last piece as well, it's just a short one there as well. It's just an extension of what we knew last year as well. So Don't Nod said as well in the full earnings report, Don't Nod made a quote unquote thorough assessment of recent industry trends and developments, end quote, before it delayed Lost Records. It was decided in June 2024 to quote unquote optimize the release window, end quote, for Lost Records, and pushed it back into 2025. It wanted to ensure the greatest, quote unquote, greatest possible success upon launch, end quote. So just the final 2 pieces before we go into the miscellaneous. Obviously, we've done the STAGV stuff, and it feels like Don't Nod has now finally got that under control with the unions, which is always an important part, because it was like basically ongoing as we were covering it and doing nonstop. The Lost Records one, I think they just rolled the dice, and obviously I don't think the payoff's been that big at the moment. Maybe it picks up in the longer run, and maybe that PlayStation deal came in as a kind of a saving grace.
So I was listening to a Kind of Funny episode again,
and
they made a pretty good point of like why people aren't playing Lost Records right now.
Who made this point?
Okay, so controversial. Blessing Adeoye Jr. Mr. We love Life is Strange, but man, we hate Bloom and Rage or something like that. Like it was like, man, we're all I would rather a True Colors over Blue. I forget what dumb
Oh yeah,
comment
right.
he made. Blessing, I love you, but like, you couldn't even name Tom Cruise. So get
Mm.
that through your
We even offered him a
head.
place in the double exposure spoiler cast, and he didn't take it up.
Yes,
To the
he
abyss,
didn't take it.
blessing.
Yes, dang it, Blessing. But like to his point though, also on the record, Blessing, great person. Um, he is a blessing. But he was making the point that like even he forgot tape 2 came out.
Mm.
A lot of people are saying that they forgot tape 2 was coming out
Yeah.
mostly because, and to his point, and we even faced this as well, that a lot of reviewers, because the review embargo or like you got your code
Mm.
when the game released, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of reviews that they were doing already, i.e. Expedition 33,
Yeah.
um, Blueprint, no, not Blueprints, but like there was a couple other games that they're doing reviews on already
Yeah.
that when Take 2 came out and it wasn't like given to them in advance,
Yeah.
that way a lot of reviewers didn't review Tape 2. Therefore, a lot of people had forgotten that Tape 2 even released.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it was, yes, once again, the marketing wasn't really there. Um, and I think that if a lot of more people were reminded, like
Mm.
we're doing Lost Records Journal, and that's like I'm gonna say it's our echo chamber of people who already are into the game.
Of
You know what
course.
I mean? It's our echo chamber. Like we love it, but it's like people who are already there already love Lost Records.
Yeah.
But the people who were interested but waited until tape 2 was out and reviewers weren't reviewing it, therefore a lot of people were not reminded that it came
Yeah.
out. It's just kind of like I feel like it could have done better if you know if we
One
weren't being
release.
so yeah. Unfortunately, they are correct. Like they were saying that also in the kind of funny that like episodic doesn't work anymore. And
No.
it sucks. It sucks that it doesn't work anymore. I'm saying that right now. It sucks that episodic games don't work anymore. It sucks that episodic TV doesn't work anymore. You know,
I made the
yeah.
point, and to add on to what you're saying, because I just did it with Fireside with A&A and Abby. I said they would have been a smarter decision to even take what I think has been a beneficial decision, which was with True Colors. Release the game in one go, split into chapters in the game, and tell that story.
Yeah. It is very unfortunate that like
Yeah.
that has to be the case because I know Michelle loves episodic and I think
Mm.
he's right to love episodic. I think episodic does have its time and place. Um but because of like the binge that is like 10 years later after Life is Strange, people don't want episodic anymore, and it
No.
sucks that that's in the same way that like I still have my iPod. It's in the other room, but like
Mm.
I buy iTunes music, I
Yeah.
buy CDs, I put it on my iPod. For me to convince somebody to drop your Spotify and your Apple Music and get an iPod or an MP3 player and buy your music and put it on, I can say that until the cows come home, but guess what? That's not how the world works anymore, and I
No.
won't be able to convince people to just buy their music and put it on an MP3 player. Same thing with Michelle, Don't Nod, anybody else who wants to put an episodic game out. That's why I don't think we're gonna see. I'm sorry right now. I don't think we're gonna see Wolf Among Us 2. I
No.
think yeah, I think Telltale's gonna go under again because episodic games don't work anymore. And it needs to be released as a package and needs to be reminded to people that tape 2 is out right now because people will play it if they were reminded that tape 2 is out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It sucks. That sucks, dude. I hate that that's the case.
But we're in peak ultra capitalism mode now. Like that
Yeah.
era is now gone. It's like you need to grab attention. Hawk Tour Girl makes Hawk Tour comment and becomes a viral hit and milks it. Obviously has
Yes.
her own crypto scenario thing that she's dealing with, but was able to
Yeah.
milk that and has made money from like making a 5 minutes of fame. She didn't drag it out,
Yes.
like she didn't make an episodic release and then come back 2 months later. You fall
Yeah.
off, man. The amount of memes that we see, I saw like, the obsessed internet girl, whichever one it was, the one with the Justin Bieber song.
Yeah.
Saw her pop up in my thing. I think she's called Lana or something. She popped up in my thing. It's like, oh, there's blast from the past. You become old yesterday's news.
Yeah.
And it's the same with like Lost Records as well, because we are truly in that moment where Kevin Spacey, I can't believe I'm mentioning his name, but Kevin Spacey and Seven at the back of the car with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt's character in Seven. It says, if you want people's attention, you need to hit them in the face with a sledgehammer. I'm paraphrasing him. That's what it is. Once you release Lost Records, it needs to hit people in the face. It needs to be that Crow's, the Crows. It needs to be Fawn's curse scene. It's Fawn's curse. It is canon that. Fawn's curse scene, where all the girls are floating around. That needed to be floated in front of people constantly. So they kept playing it and they went through it. People just don't come back to things. That's why the Netflix model worked for so long, where they basically destroyed cable television in large parts of film things. And that era of like lost TV show episodes coming out every couple of weeks doesn't work. Some places still do it. Apple TV tried it with Silo and stuff like that. But I bet you the numbers just fall off because people want to binge something and they want to move on to the next thing. That's where consumerism is. You have everything. So, for example, why would you wait for the second part of Lost Records when you can go and play Life is Strange 1 and play all 5 episodes? Play that. And actually, Expedition 33 is out. I'm going to go and play that now. Oh, actually, Death Stranding 2 is around the corner. I'm going to play that. You literally are spoiled. Like, you're spoiled so much for choice, how much content we now have in this world. This, like, constantly, you're not going to sit there thinking, I need Lost Records because it's something like that. And it's the same with Wolf Among Us 2 as well. I agree with you completely because I don't think it has a place anymore. It wouldn't work. And you saw with Deck 9 as well, they had trouble with the Expanse. That didn't succeed anywhere near as what they probably would have hoped for. And same with Telltale. So, I think I personally think they should scrap it. And I think it should just be a straight, like, tape free if they're going to do that kind of scenario, if that is what they're labeling the next game. But I think the next game does need to be released in one go because it needs to get the reviews, it needs to get previews, it needs to get accolades, trailers, it needs to get everything out all in one go. It's probably, as much as I don't like to say, it's probably the best thing Square Enix did, getting rid of the episodic structure from Life is Strange. Because look how Life is Strange 2 turned out. I bet you the drop-off rate in that game was crazy. There were so many big periods of when that game was like releasing episodes. It was like, no.
Yeah, that was a wait and a half going through those episodes. I just remember like losing interest a while in Life is Strange 2. Unfortunately that model doesn't function today. Again, like going back to the iPod situation, just like the iPods don't work. I will defend the iPod till the day I die. It will be buried with me. But I can't like proclaim it to be like, oh, everybody should do it. I want to. Like if you're watching this, buy your music, dude. Purchase it. Bandcamp. I've been saying it. Every time there's a new soundtrack from Don't Nod, I say, here's the Bandcamp link, link, not the leak. Here's the Bandcamp link, right? Buy it from Bandcamp. Buy your music, dude. Because Spotify sucks, dude. DistroKid sucks. But yeah, I can say that, but like people aren't going to do it. People aren't going to do it. You're not going to do it. I bet you, listener, this is a challenge. Oh, you won't buy Milk and Bone from Bandcamp. You won't do it, loser.
Well, there you go. There's your insult.
Yeah. $5 for Milk and Bone. $5 for Baby Dreamer. Come on now.
Save that because it's in the next episode. It's inside B because actually pairing Milk and Bone in the Miscellaneous, so you can plug that again.
Good. I will.
But yeah, I think have we got anything else to add on to this?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so I think like obviously like I hope they like I still love Lost Records. I'm just critical of that 2-part release. I just don't think it's worked as well as it has done. I think there's probably things they can learn from there, and I think there's maybe to tell the episodic story. I think they could tell it in more effective ways in the game as well. I think maybe that chapter release structure seems to be the way that I'm thinking at the moment, among many other things. But yeah, we'll wrap up here. We got Spread the Art as comment of the day, and then the outro. And obviously, remember this is 2 parts, so we're recording on the same day. We just split it because there's a lot of stuff, and there's obviously a heavy Lost Records episode / Don't Know one coming up. So Adam, should we go into comment of the day? Oh no, sorry, we've got miscellaneous topics.
Yeah, we have miscellaneous. Let's just jump right through these. Like in Kind of Funny where they do like the Wii News.
Yes, so quickly just running through the miscellaneous news. These are things for you. So as you can see here, Life is Strange comic book writer Emma Vieceli is doing a free acting class workshop in Letchworth Comic Con in June. Bloody hell, we're in England. You can go to that as well, free. If you got any comics and stuff, I'm sure she would sign it. So Emma's doing a lot of like little things in acting, so it's definitely worth checking out. And there's a Letchworth Comic Con where they posted the workshop with the details. It's in June. I've posted on Twitter if you do want to check it out, but it's definitely worth doing it. I love Emma. She's amazing. This is a really lovely one, actually. So it's Don't Nod Montreal as well, Lost Records, Bloom Rage, creative developers. Developers. They show their support for La Rue des Femmes. Femmes? I don't know, I've butchered that, I'm not French. A women's shelter in Montreal. The Lost Records developers team was mobilizing to collect material and goods and clothing for the non-profit organization. And they put like a big post out on LinkedIn as well saying that what they were doing there, which is amazing as well from the team at Don't Nod Montreal. So we always love to see that. And then Adam as well, he always appears in our podcast because he's amazing, whether it's the Lost Records Journal or StrangeCast. Sam Bradley,
Hey,
the Don't Nod
my
Montreal,
friend, I hope.
he's amazing. The Don't
Yeah.
Nod Montreal art director on Lost Records Boom Rage shared some more concept art, and obviously we now have the Mickelson's Ranch in Velvet Cove. I'm just double checking that. Yeah. As you can see that, a lovely photo that he's shared as well on the screen. And just as well, a lot of detail there. You can see Dylan stood on the porch. This comment as well from Charlie as well, saying that we need an art book. Yes, get an art book printed. Limited edition, signed by Michelle and Sam Bradley. Oh my God. Days. Absolute cinema, Martin Scorsese style. That's what it's going to be.
And if Luke tries to sign it too, you say, no. Only cool people can sign this book, Luke.
Yes. I would like to have a Bao paw print on my book signed.
Yeah, Bao can sign it. Yes. Bao's cool. Bassists are not cool. They never were cool. Yeah.
I don't think he's ever forgiven you for the slander that you did on the freebies.
Well, try to be, a better instrumentalist. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow.
Like, there's no place for bassists in this world.
Some big slander on bass guitar.
That's awful.
Metallica would be nothing without Robert Trujillo. Let's be honest.
Nah, they would be even bigger. They would be even bigger. Paul McCartney, who? The band is better. Like John Lennon. Come on, John Lennon is a better. He's the best instrumentalist on the Beatles. Paul McCartney was just a face.
What? So you're saying that Michelle is like John Lennon, and then you're saying Luke is like Paul McCartney? Oh wow.
Yes. Well, and Ringo Starr is Sam Bradley.
Never say that. Never say that. Poor Ringo. Poor Ringo. Yeah. I love that. When you mention Paul McCartney, all I can think of is that Simpsons episode where Homer's like, "You're Paul McCartney."
Yeah.
Paul McCartney's like, "Where did you get that brownie?"
Where'd you get that brownie? Well, right over there.
It's like, "Oh, he was a pleasant chap, wasn't he?" And it's like, "Oh God, no way." So yeah, we're done here. We're going to go into comment of the day and then spread the arts, and then we're going to call it a day on here. Again, we got 2 episodes, so that's that. So Adam, comment of the day. We got one from here, and it's from Thomas Murch. The Merch, respect the merch. And I thought it was an interesting take. So he's put here, and this was based on the last episode, because obviously you remember Jonathan Stauder appeared in it because of the Gaming Awards. And Thomas Murch said, quote unquote, "To be honest, I quite like Stauder's award-related posts. They don't seem particularly proud to me. After all, the criticism the game received, it must be nice to have some good news to report. I'm sure if anything I ever did get nominated for an award, I'd be a lot more obnoxious about it. Plus, it's pretty decent for him to highlight that most of his team are currently looking for work. He doesn't even bring attention to the fact that he's one of them, which might have made it rather self-serving. Lord knows that my feelings about Life is Strange Double Exposure were mixed, and most of my favorite artists are quite frank about their work and the response to it. So I wouldn't complain if he discusses the reviews and fan reception at some point, but I think he's responded in a bit of to this bit of good news about as gracefully as I could expect." End quote. So I think.
Oh, there goes my keyboard. Because I wanted to bring the mic closer. Thomas Murch, you know that I am your friend. Whether or not you want to be my friend is a different question. Thomas Murch, the fact that you're defending and you say you're mixed with double exposure, and yet you're in our comments. You say that it's mixed, as if you can say like, "Wow, I can see the bad with the bad, and I can see your thigh in the camera, but that's fine. I like your thigh." Thank you, Thomas.
You better be careful about disrespecting Thomas Murch. Thomas Murch is my Metal Gear boy.
And if he disappears, I'm disrespecting all the Kojima boys right here. Thomas, this is what I had to say to you. I respect your take and actually agree with you. So, you know what? Point to you, Thomas Murch, even though you like Kojima, and nobody likes Kojima. Who likes Kojima? Yuck.
I will be on the beach next month. None of you will see me. I will be on the
Yes.
beach. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to put it on my profile as well. Twitter profile on the beach. Whenever someone responds to me, that's where I'm going to be. Death Stranding 2, please.
But yeah, no, like points to Thomas. I get it. Like he is trying to like actually like put out saying like, hey, if you're looking for work, and like what Tom is saying, it's not like saying like, oh, I worked on this game. I'm an award-winning game director. I think from what we heard about Double Exposure, from the people we've talked to actually playing the game, seeing the insides and outs, the news pieces that we've covered, this has to be one of the messiest game developments in recent history. Like this has to be like one of those things that like when I say study Expedition 33 team, like how could you make something so good with such a small team? For this, what happened? Like this needs to be another case study of just like, dude, what happened? Because like there was too many things like going on that it was just such a messy development. And all we're hearing from Jonathan Stout was that
you could write a book on it.
Yeah, you could. No clip, make a documentary already about it. But yeah, no, Jonathan Stout, at least he's like shouting his people out, saying like, "Hey, they're award winners. You know, find them work." So points to you, Thomas. Even though you are the Paul McCartney of the commenters of the StrangeCast, so
wow.
No, scratch that. You're the George Harrison. Okay, you're the George Harrison of the commenters. Take that as you will, even though George is my favorite Beatle. But take that as you will. But you're the George Harrison of our commenters.
No, it's a fair. I responded to. I think it's a fair point what he's saying. I will just say two things though. I said this to Thomas Murch. Or I said one of them at least. One thing is that when Thomas Murch said that if I got something like this, I would be obnoxious and praise it. The difference is I expect you to make very good things compared to what Jonathan Stauder and the other team made. So I'm just going to put that out there. That's just a little bit of a dig, but that's what I mean. Like, so if you're going to do it, like, you've obviously made something good. And again, we've talked about the gaming awards and stuff like that. It's very like tokenistic, like gesture for like Life is Strange. It feels like it wants to be nominated because it has that name and that's the awards that it goes for rather than going for the bigger hitters. And the second point is, and this is my other point that I made, and which I think is fair. I don't mind him like doing what he's doing where, for example, even where Thomas said like he's not even taking the credit for himself and he's trying to highlight the other people who've been laid off, who have been laid off for a long time. And I feel for any individual. Rather, even if I don't like what they did with the direction, the creative direction, I still feel for people as a human being. I still question very terrible creative decisions that were made on this project. But ultimately, the one thing that annoys me with the comment that he makes there, and why it rattles me, and I said this to Thomas in the comments, the way he positions that comment. Okay, you're highlighting the people who are out of work, but you're also discrediting all the other people who worked on this project because this award is as much as Backhair's and also all the other people, where Pickers Gill, Zach Andrews, any person that worked in the credits, they have as much claim to this award as that creative team. And even if you wrote the narrative that gets it nominated for like Game of the Year, Game of the Year is the sum of the body of the parts. It doesn't mean it's based on the narrative. It might be based on all the other elements of it. There's a lot of unsung developers on this game that deserve more credit. And this is what I brought up in that conversation where I was like, on the interviews, it's always John Stauder, Felice Kwan, and Aysha Farah. And that's what everyone's reputation is for that studio at the minute in terms of those developers attached to this project. And then we bring Backer on. Someone's like, amazing. He's like a pro.
Backer.
He's Backer. Sorry. It's been a while since I've spoken to him. Oh, Miss Backer.
Yeah.
With Backer, it's like we bring him on, and it's like, he's like, oh, he's a pro. He's like a former pro wrestling referee, and it's like, oh, he's got such a cool vibe, and he understands it. Yeah, a lot of people did, and that's why it annoys me. Because it's like that's the thing I take away from the comment. Like, you should acknowledge everyone, John Stauder. It's not just the creative team. You should say, oh, my creative team laid off, and then all the other people at Deck Nine that worked really hard on this project, because then it shows at least a sense of awareness in that these people also worked hard and got everything with it. But ultimately, I think it's a fair comment with where Merch has come across with it, and yeah, I think like I don't think it's the last we'll hear from John Stauder, and there's like a lot of stuff that happened in this game, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like ultimately, he's doing what he thinks is right as a director, and he's like spoken about that, and he's made his feelings clear and many other things. Do I agree with his vision? No. Would I have directed this game? No. If someone said to me, "Would you have directed this game?" I'm like, not a chance. My resignation note would have been handed in. I'm like, not a chance.
Yes.
This project was doomed for failure, and I'm like, no. But ultimately, I get where he's coming from. I get where Merch is coming from. But it's just that thing with Stouder that annoys me. I'm like, acknowledge the other people. Acknowledge the other people who worked on this. And you're not doing that. It's like you're thinking that just the narrative team and the creative team have this. Yes, cool, you'd highlight them because you want them to get work and you're saying that these people need that kind of impetus, but I've not heard you want to acknowledge any other person that worked on this project outside of them, the other people who helped make it. So that's my feelings on it. So yes, that's it. So thank you, Thomas Merch. You have been spared a sentence from the abyss. I know this is a Lost Records thing, but you are free to walk, as George Harrison would walk away from the Beatles.
And you will not be plunged out of reality. I.e., what's the one? Allah, yeah, there we go. Like, you will not be plunged out. Allah, the police officer from. Oh, who's the police officer called from Double Exposure?
Oh, Alderman.
Yeah, Allah Alderman. Like, you will not be plunged out.
By the way, as well, that's the 1 year anniversary coming in October. We'll be covering that.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about that. That'll be a nice good episode to get to that 1 year anniversary. But anyway, let's go and spread the arts. Adam, spread the arts.
Yeah, I just watched a documentary miniseries that absolutely broke my heart. Like, it actually, like, I could only watch maybe an episode, maybe 2 episodes a night. It's an older one called older, I mean, it came out last year. Called Social Studies from FX. And it is 5 episodes following a group of Gen Z students in 2021 in Los Angeles after the pandemic, and how the pandemic made them really latch on to social media, and how social media broke them as a society. Like, actually, like, broke them for, like, how it developed their adolescence, how they formed their sexual orientation, and how they formed, like, a lot of things. And it made them age in a way that, like, we all know that social media is bad, but, like, to see it, like, happening to them, and it all stems from social media, it's really heartbreaking. I can only watch an episode or 2 a night because, like, it broke my heart, man. Social media is garbage, and yet they all need it. Like, they all need it. It sucks, dude. So, yeah.
Seeing as you disrespected my boy Thomas Merch and also Kojima, I'm gonna bring it in. If you play Death Stranding, you'd see, for example, why he keeps playing the theme of the world should never be as connected as it is. Yes, and that guy just hits themes every time. Metal Gear Solid 2, Death Stranding, to have instant connect. Genuinely, social media, and you said as well, I that's like one documentary, and you'll find like God knows how many if you actually look for them. If you like look at some of the more sinister ones where it's like big tech and stuff, and you see like when you get notifications, they want you to come back on the app. That's why they do it. They don't do it for your satisfaction. They want you back on Instagram. They want you back on these apps. That's what they're doing. And with that as well, that experience of being connected all the time, I will say this now, I might be long gone. These devices will probably be banned for people under the age of 16 at some point. And then secondly, I 100% expect almost like smoking hazard messages to appear on social media websites before people go on them in the future. At some point, you should never have at the access finger point tip of your hand what you can access.
That's why Mark Zuckerberg hates Apple, because Apple made them put out like the privacy policies. And like, because they have to put out privacy policies on Apple devices, Zuckerberg hates Apple, dude. That's exactly why. But yeah, social studies, it's one of like many social media hatred, but like this one severely broke my heart. Like, it was insane, man. The one thing that stood out to me was that, like, these are the same struggles that child actors had to go through, because again, all of their mistakes are public, and it's just like, so you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of struggle. But now we have an entire generation of child actors. Like, it's insane.
It's true, because you can become a child actor by just becoming an influencer. I remember how many parents put their kids on TikTok, and you like look at the downloads. It's like, wonder who's looking at that, and it's like, and as you said, the child actors thing as well. Amanda Bynes, what's this? Drake Bell, Jeanette McCurdy. You brought the book on as well. You were listening. You read that book as well. Yeah.
But yeah, social studies on FX, it's heartbreaking, dude.
Yeah. I'm happy that I grew up growing up with technology. I would not want to be a kid now. I'm just like happy with that.
No, this generation's cooked, dude. Generation Z and Gen Alpha, they're cooked, dude.
Yes.
We can't really say anything about Gen Beta right now.
Not
But
yet.
Alpha and Z, like they're cooked, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think you're okay if you're like if you're a zillennial,
Yeah.
and if you're like early Gen Z, but like the late Gen Z going to Gen Alpha. Oh my god, I feel for you guys. I really do, because it's like the world is just
Yeah.
not. You don't know the world. The world ceased to exist, in my opinion, pre-2000. When the financial crisis happened, the world has never been the same again. I think COVID has been even a bigger one, where it's like the world is just so different. But yeah,
There
well,
was a quote that I shared with a couple of friends, and it's so corny, dude. It's so corny. I wanted to see if I still had it. Yeah. So it's one of these like quotes that you see in like Tumblr or something. So saying 15 years ago, the internet was an escape from the real world. Now, real world is an escape from the internet.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. I'm
That's,
like,
yeah.
it's so corny, but like, yeah, that's facts right there. That's facts.
No, that is wild. So that is one for you to check out. Mine will be, so I gone back. I was thinking about this film for a long time. This is one of the rare films in the Oscars that's won all 5 of the major categories. I think it's the top 5 of that.
Hot Rod?
No.
Oh.
But I watched it back, and I genuinely keep thinking about it. But I think it's one of the greatest films ever made. Already thought it was one of the greatest films ever made. And I do think it's even better now, and it's The Silence of the Lambs. Oh my god. I can watch that film like time and time again, and it still ages like a fine wine. And it is unbelievable. Like, I don't think there's anything that's come anywhere near touching something like that. It is like masterful, from direction to acting to writing to music. I can't fault that film. I think it's a genuine masterpiece.
Yeah. Yeah, our president had quoted that movie, saying that
Jesus Christ.
Hannibal Lecter was a great man. Great man. He had his friends over for dinner.
Oh god.
What a great man, Hannibal Lecter.
Put a mask on him. Put the Hannibal Lecter mask on him. Get him in get him in Dr. Chilton's like little dungeon area. Like, Jesus Christ. No, it's a masterpiece. I watched it again just for the sake of it. I've been thinking about it since I played Lost Records, because during the moths and stuff, I was like, it just kept like lingering in my head. And I watched it, and shot for shot, and oh my god, it's amazing. Like, even it's subtle as well. Like the commentary about her being like a woman in the FBI in the 1990s is amazing. And even filmmakers struggle to do that. And it's so nuanced by it, because most people will force a message. And I think like with that film, it's so naturally done. I think the one favorite scene is when she walks into the elevator and all those guys are surrounded around her. And it's like most people wouldn't even film something like that. They'd have to like have Jennifer Lawrence scream there saying, "I'm a woman." Da, da, da. Like Jodie Foster makes that message so clear, and it's done repeatedly through the film. Even when like the sheriff like questions her being a woman, she's like, "Oh, you don't want to do this," and it's like she like does a really good like way of like maneuvering it. Unbelievable. And Anthony Hopkins, oh my god, what a performance. Recommend that, because I've just watched it again, and like that's a masterpiece. So I think we'll call it a wrap here. So thank you for joining us. Obviously, again, this is side A. Side B will be out in the same week as our landmark 100th episode. And I've also broken it up because my schedule's really busy as well. A lot of stuff is happening. But yeah, stay tuned for side B. It will be out in the week. I think this might come out on the Wednesday. We're recording on the Sunday, the 11th of May. So hopefully the Wednesday comes out, and then side B should hopefully come out on the Friday. But we'll wrap up here. Thank you for joining us. If you are new here, please do consider dropping a subscribe, turn on notifications, like this video. If you do not subscribe to this video, Vin Lang is going to become your favorite character. That's what's going to happen. You are going to become Vin Lang. Yes. You will become Vin Lang. So subscribe, like the video, share your friends, turn on notifications. It helps support the channel, helps boost our visibility to people. We're almost at 1,900 subscribers, so if you can subscribe, it really helps us. And also as well, StrangeCast is available on all podcast services. We're on Spotify with a video version, Apple Podcasts, we've got over 300 followers on Spotify, we've got over 49 ratings as well, which is amazing. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, we'll wrap up here. Stay tuned. Side B is coming very soon, and we'll catch you in that. Obviously, there's a lot more Don't Nod and Lost Records content to be covered in that. So yeah, until next time, see you later. Bye.
Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.